Can you
Okay,
repeat
so those are my top five. Hey, Chad, can you mute your mic, please?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
All right. Number 5 is don't EXP vomit. You want to be an attractor, not a recruiter. Okay, now that we have those 5, we're going to go through each one of those. But now that Jenny's in the room, Jenny is been one of my mentors for a long time. Has been a real estate coach, marketing coach, and after 10 years of coaching, she got back in the business last year. In her first year back, sold $10 million worth of real estate and is an icon. So, Jenny, you want to kind of introduce yourself as well? Besides that.
All right, I love it. So excited to be here. How is everybody?
Good.
Hey, put in the chat box. Let's talk to each other and say, there you go. Awesome. Great. So happy to be here. And I actually was living the life of the blueprint, and so was Chad. We were onboarding people. I'm pumped too. Yes. We had 5 people join our organization this past Monday. We were helping everybody get onboarded today at the house, and just spending some good time with everybody. Gusty, you were so right with those points made. As far as, not EXP vomiting, being highly visible on social media. You really want to find what you're passionate about the company. Find your thing with the company and share it. Share it not too much, but share it at least 3 times a week, so that people will see that you're different, that you're on fire for something, and that just passion really attracts other people.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to jump into number 1. Like I said earlier, create a goal or vision that people can buy into. So that's basically the first thing that we did. Jenny was at EXP, I guess probably a year before, we made the move. And as soon as we made the move over, I declared 25% market share by 2025. So one of our hashtags that we use when we post about EXP, and especially locally in Birmingham, we use hashtag 25x25. So that was the first thing that we did. Was we created a video talking about we wanted 25% market share by 2025. That immediately got EXP attention in our market, where previously it hadn't been as big in our market. I think we have about 4,000 agents in our market. And I think when we made the move over, it was, 9 months ago, I think there was about 68. And now I think in our market, there's about 175. So we have gone from 1% market share in 9 months to 3.4% market share. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get to 5% market share by the end of this year in Birmingham. So not only are we doing that in Birmingham, we are growing throughout the state of Alabama. And so we're looking at doing that as well. Teresa, great question. Market share means what? Well, for us, it can mean multiple things. Market share can mean homes sold. Market share could mean volume closed. Market share, those are going to be probably the 2 main ones that we can track through our MLS. So to me, it's units sold and volume closed. That's what we're really going after, market share. Great question. Thank you for asking. So that was 25% market share. We immediately got the attention of every broker and every agent in town by creating that 25% market share. Jenny, Chad, do you want to kind of, speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So the night that Gusty joined, he walked in and threw down the vision at a big party that we had. And so we had it on video and he was super excited about it. And the vision is so big because seriously, we were at less than 1% when he made the announcement. And so a lot of people thought we were crazy, but they were so attracted to it. And we actually get that question all the time, like, what does 25 by 25 mean? And so we get to explain it, right, by having a vision there and a goal to work for. And also, it caught the attention of really high producers because they're like, wow, you're really going to do that? Because market share a lot of times means listings, means, owning that market and having 25% of the listings in that market. So really top producing agents are attracted to that. Now we got to help them get there. And that's the fun part. So we had t-shirts made, and I'm wearing mine now that says 25 by 25, and we put that on a hashtag of everything. And we also have on the back, it explains what it means, 25% by 2020 or 2025. So much fun having that goal to work toward. And when people join, they buy into it as well. So just really casting that vision has been so much fun.
I can speak to that.
Go ahead.
The first time I saw you guys, put out the 25 by 25 mantra, I was one of the ones that thought you were nuts. So here we are. That doesn't mean. I mean, I was all in on EXP and I was excited about it, but I thought you were crazy. Fast forward, what's it been, 6-8 months since I joined, and man, I'm so excited about it, and I'm seeing the synergy in our market and the buzz, and you made a believer out of me, and I'm on board.
Well, and you're a huge reason that we're going to hit that goal because of all the listings that you take. If you're in the audience, Chad does about 80 transactions a year, and most of his business are listings. So having that visibility is part of the blueprint, it's part of the growth plan.
Sure, absolutely. Hey, Jenny, do you want to put up the video and we can show everybody the video on here?
Yeah, Zach just uploaded it.
Okay.
And really make it all. Oh yeah.
What's that?
He said, yeah.
In the chat.
It's in the he put it in the chat for people to watch it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, y'all can watch that a little bit later on. So that's the announcement video. The next, and so the 25% market share, what I want to add on to that is this gives us really something that everybody can buy in. It talks about, a lot of agents and a lot of brokerages right now do not have, strategic plans. They don't have goals. They don't know where they want to be in 2025. Heck, they don't know where they want to be in 2021. And so for us to come out and say, we've got a plan, we've got a goal to be 25% market share by 2025, it really got a lot of people's attention. So now the next piece of it is we got to sell houses. And so a lot of the people, the way I look at it is a lot of the people that come on board this year are just kind of foundation. And we're going to be really building out, like the folks that come on board now are really going to see a ton of benefit. And then folks that come on next year are still going to see a lot of benefit, but maybe not as much as they did if they came on this year. And that's going to continue to go. So that's why we wanted to put that strategic plan, that vision, that goal out there. That is one of the most important things I think has helped us. And I don't really think we've been through a good recruiting year. So I'm really anxious to see what's going to happen through this fall as we're continuing to have these conversations. Moving on to number 2, it is sell houses in a lot of them. And with that being said, Chad is talk about what you've done just in your since you've come over to EXP?
Well, since I've come over to EXP, I think the total, I think I've closed 17 million, a little more than that in volume since I moved over in September.
He's the man, y'all. He's single agent.
I've had a really good start to the year so far, year to date for 2020. I think a little over 11 million. But I was telling someone this morning, my move over to EXP sort of it lit a fire, because with me promoting and letting people know that I had made a change and that I had moved. One, it's getting new signage out there. It's getting on social media, letting people know. I've got a couple of billboards in my small little niche market of Chelsea, Alabama. So changing all that stuff out and everything, I believe that it gave me some synergy and a little fire under my marketing a little bit. I'm trying with, since I do list a lot, I'm trying to do my part of getting that EXP logo out there as much as I can, and helping build that public awareness that helps us build that market share. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And, for example, I run a team of 24 agents in the Birmingham area. We've, last year we closed over 400 homes. And so having sell signs out there and having that EXP brand, the more signs that people see, then, that's going to help with your market share too. People have got to see that we're actually selling real estate. That's a very, very important piece of this. So number 3 is be visible on social media. And one of the things that, video is really key. In the last breakout, you had Kyle Whistle, who's huge on video. And, I've just gotten to the point where I feel like I'm almost on video every day, and I'm posting something on my social media. And it might not necessarily be about EXP, but it's about typically real estate, because I am, really involved in real estate. So, I'm talking about, trainings. I'm talking about, how motivating people, motivating agents in our market. I'm trying to bring value, whether it's bring in different marketing opportunities, doing webinars, talking about the real estate market. One of the things that we did, especially through COVID-19, Jenny and Chad and about 3 other agents, every Friday afternoon, we started having a conversation about our real estate market and how everything's going on through COVID-19. And I think that was beneficial. Would y'all agree with that, Jenny and Chad?
Yeah, absolutely. All the stuff that we are doing as far as interviews and being highly, highly visible has worked. In fact, we were just onboarding someone who had reached out to Chad, already had made the decision to come because Chad and I and 2 other agents did a Zoom, a Be Live on Facebook about why more than ever we're excited to be with EXP. And this gentleman watched that and reached out to Chad, really connected with him, and he was already convinced to come. So just being visible out there, especially on those Friday updates like you're talking about, Gusty, of sharing with people like how the market is going, especially when there's a group of us, shows not only consumers that we're out there working with buyers and sellers every day, but it shows other agents as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Friday afternoon market update we've been doing, I have gotten comments from fellow agents of how much they appreciate that. I think that it's helpful for people to hear from, multiple other voices of what they're seeing in the market, because sometimes we get sort of bogged down on what's going on in our own world, and we don't really see the big picture. And so when you hear those market updates, it kind of gives you a better idea of what the market as a whole is doing, hearing from multiple people like that. But I've also had, clients that I'm working with mention, hey, I watched your video on Friday afternoon with your market update. That was really good. And it's good to hear that the market's continuing. And so it's building confidence in consumers out there with that update we've been doing every Friday afternoon, for them to sort of know what's going on and feel like they're getting to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I also do every Sunday night, and if it's not a Sunday night, it usually rolls into Monday morning. I do a top 5 training class recommendations video. And that's where I am making recommendations on, the different classes, and especially with the Excel series that we've had over the last couple of months. It's been a great way to invite other agents and just give them more training. And I find that when you're building a brokerage, that the main things that people want out of a brokerage are training and mentorship. And so, in my opinion, nobody can compete with eXp Realty as far as training goes. I mean, we're in a summit right now with over 200 folks listening to us right here from all around the country. You've had 75, or we will by the end of the week have 75 breakout sessions, and there's just nothing like it out there. So I talk about top 5 trainings of the week. And what that does is people reach out to me to get guest passes. And so when they start learning a little bit more about eXp, start taking classes, they're going to be a little bit more open to having a conversation about, what does my career and my future look like at eXp Realty? So that has been a key piece for growth. I've started seeing other folks in different markets use that top 5 training. You are more than welcome to do it. I am, here to help eXp grow. If we, we can all win, in my opinion. What are some of the other things, Jenny, that as far as social media goes? Oh, the welcome gifts, I think, is big. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, that'd be great. So really, that was the brainchild of Zach Kennedy. And you had mentioned before also, because we were doing just regular graphics welcoming people to begin with, but you made mention one day that it'd be great if we had some sort of video that could track views, so we knew that people would be paying attention. And so Zach designed a little welcome gift that he'll probably throw an example up in the chat box. But we love that it is the music behind it. And yeah, Casey's like, use ours. And he just put one in there. Zach has got, if you'll look through this chat box, he's got a ton of information. Every time Gusty speaks about something, Zach will put it in the chat box. He comes in so handy so that we can see some of these things. It's a little jingle behind it, and it has their name and welcomes, and so we can share that everywhere. And it's just so much fun, and it's like through our it's just something that we're doing with our organization, and I can tell you that gets so much response. I have people calling from all over the state and saying, my God, are y'all just having everybody in town join y'all? And it's fun.
Yep.
And also consumers can see it too, because again, like Gusty said, one of the most important thing is production is the biggest attractor. And when even the consumers can see that we have lots of people joining, and we're really highlighting and publicizing the people who are joining and helping their business and boost it right out of the gate also. So all of these things work together.
Yep. Yeah, and we're celebrating people's wins. Like if we're seeing that somebody's had their best month ever, somebody's done this, we're celebrating, and you're seeing a lot of the eXp agents in our market really, giving attaboys to all the other eXp agents. And that's been really fun, just to really build something that, we're being collaborative and cooperative with all of our other EXP agents in our market, whether they're in our organization or not. I feel like, we all have the same goal of building the best real estate brokerage that's out there. And we can all coexist, and we can all make our other agents look as good as possible. So, we do some trainings locally, and we invite all of the EXP agents in our market, and really we invite everybody if anybody wants to come to a training. We've only done one EXP Explained. We've really focused on bringing value. We've really focused on teaching, different classes on lead generation, how to get through inspections, all that kind of stuff. And we just do a really good job of promoting that online, on social. And then one step ahead of that is shooting people direct messages in Facebook and letting them know, hey, I just wanted to personally invite you to this event. And that doesn't, you're not going to be like jumping all over them, recruiting them, but it's just an offer of value. And I think that's the biggest, one of the big takeaways that y'all need to do, which I've just moved into number 4, give value in training.
Well, hey, before you move into number 4 about give value and training, one of the secrets that you can really start to see who's paying attention is when we put those gifts into our story on Facebook story, and we can see who repeatedly is watching that. And that is huge for your growth potential. You'll know who's interested and a lot of times it'll be brokers from other companies, but
Yes,
which is fine too.
I love it.
But you'll really start seeing patterns there. What is a Facebook story? Okay, so on your Facebook, on your homepage, if you're on your phone, there'll be a little plus sign that says add to your story, and you can upload it there, and then it'll send you a message in Messenger of who exactly is looking at your story. So we'll have 200 people really pay attention to it, and we will see patterns through those same 200 people.
Really been fun to watch some of that stuff, some of the live things that we've done, and to see some of the names pop up on there of prominent brokers of big offices in town and things like that, to see who's really watching and paying attention. That's really kind of been an interesting side of it. Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So we'll move on to number 4, which is give value and trainings. And I was just jumped into that a little bit. So we've been doing the local trainings in person. Like I said, we've only done one EXP Explained. I think it worked out pretty well, Jenny. I think we had 3 people show up, but we added 4 people. Is that right?
Yes, we had no idea what to expect. Pat Hayes lives by this, and everybody always feels like their market is different, and we're the same. Like, we feel like our market's different. Nobody's going to come to a lunch and learn. Well, we did one, and we had 3 people show up, and from those 3 people, 4 are joining.
Yep. I think we've been, instead of doing the EXP Explains, and we've just been more focused on bringing that value, and so just inviting people through different trainings, but it's been unique over the last, couple of months with everything with COVID-19. We've had to go to more video conferencing. So recently, I guess last week, I had a national real estate coach that we did a webinar, and I invited all the agents pretty much in my state to come and join us. And it was all about just really building the right message for today's time. And so that's, just focus on bringing that value. If you're bringing value, you're going to be attracting agents and not having to, ask to recruit people, so people are going to be calling you. And that's the good thing about myself, Jenny, and Chad. People are calling us instead of us having to be known as recruiters. And we like that aspect. We've also done quarterly sales meetings. Jenny, you want to touch on that?
Sure. We call them our expert rallies because, again, we're on a mission to get 25% market share. And when we have those expert rallies quarterly, we are giving value to the agents already with us and mainly focusing on how to get listings, how to increase your listings, what tools, what lead generation systems, what scripts, and that's the growth part of it. So somebody just posted in there about agent attraction and sales. Getting market share is also about sales, of course. And so you want to have the people that are already with you really producing, and that's where that value comes in, especially when it comes to taking listings because it's so visible.
Yep, for sure. And so, we're doing, we created a real estate page, a real estate group, and in those groups, we're trying to provide motivation. We're trying to provide, as much information and just to really get people excited about selling houses and just helping motivate people, because a lot of people just need motivation in real estate, in my opinion.
See, I think another part of that, that with some of the things that we've been doing is just providing leadership in the market among, because we've been willing to get out there and get in front of agents, whether it's on our weekly market update or some of the other things that we've been doing, and being able to provide some leadership in this sort of scary time that we've all been through the past couple of months. Those of us who went through the market crash several years ago and have been through some tough real estate markets, have been able to step up and go, you know what, things might change a little bit, they might not, but we kind of know how to weather this, and if we all work together, we're going to come out the other side of this okay. And I think that's been valuable, just to have that voice of leadership in the market that has people sitting up and paying attention to what we're doing in our market, that helps ultimately grow that market share.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll hit number 5. Don't EXP vomit. Be an attractor, not a recruiter. And so, like I've said, multiple times, it is, bring value. That's why I do the top 5 training video on Sundays, because I'm trying to bring as much value as possible, because I don't really want to be the person that, like, if I go to an association event or if I see somebody out and about, I don't want them, avoiding me because they think I'm going to recruit them. I want, all I'm trying to do is I'm providing that value, and I just want to be their next thought when their broker pisses them off, because we know the broker is probably going to piss them off. So I just want to be their backup plan. That's all I'm looking for. I want to be their plan B. And as vocal and as much information that we're sharing on social media, and even through COVID-19 has probably helped build our market share more than anything that we really could have done. And while it's obviously not a good thing, but it is going to have some positive impact on our growth of market share. Jenny, you want to talk about some of the ways that that you attract?
It's always teaching, and so I completely respect the person who commented about growing your own personal market share, making sure that wherever I show up is going to be something that I give with value first. And since we're in here, you're talking to one of the best listers ever with Chad Beasley in our group. So if it's okay with you, Gusty, let's give a couple of tips about getting listings and where to find listing links on that. Because again, this is how we operate. We show up in a space of giving at all times, and then that gets people to call us. And it's a lot easier when people are interested, and in what you've got to say than us chasing people who aren't interested. It's a game changer for sure. As far as increasing your own personal market share and growing your own personal business, you have to start with listings. If you're a brand new agent, what you want to do is start previewing all the neighborhoods in your market. And you don't have to go into the houses necessarily, because a lot of times, especially right now, sellers only want decision makers in houses. You're probably going to have a hard time getting in on a preview, but getting to know that hot sheet, seeing that hot sheet every single day, what's coming on the market, how many square feet is it, what kind of floor plan is it, getting to know, I can call Chad about anything in certain neighborhoods, and he can tell me the floor plan. He can tell me about how much it should be on the market for. He can pretty much tell me anything I need to know about a certain house in the neighborhoods that he sells in. And that's kind of where you want to make sure that you go. Take a look at what goes pending. Take a look at the sales, so that you are building your expertise. If you are experienced, you probably have time to go back and do some of those things right now. Really getting the expertise of your market knowledge in place. One of the things that you can do to look like a neighborhood expert is take a photo or video in front of the neighborhood signs. Not all neighborhoods have signs across the country, but a lot of them do. And you want your photo in front of there so that you can do monthly updates, and you could do use that graphic every single month on all your social media posts, either talking about why people buy there, talk about the appreciation, talk about recent sales, talk about actives, really become known as experts for certain neighborhoods in certain areas, so that you become that trusted person. Chad, I'm going to let you take over and talk about direct mail for a minute.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I for years have been a big proponent of direct mail, and it's not something that works overnight. It's a long-term strategy, but it's worked well for me over time. Jenny laughs at me because I tell her my goal with direct mail is to make an impression on people between the mailbox and the trash can. Because the reality is that most people, when they get that postcard that I send out, they're going to toss it in the trash can right away. But over and over, the impact of seeing my name, my logo, and my face, whatever the message on the back of the card happens to be, over time, there's a cumulative effect on that. And so when they get ready to list their house, if they don't already have a relationship, the goal is for my name to be the first one that pops into their head. And so, over a number of years, that's worked very well for me. I did that, started on a neighborhood level in a neighborhood that I used to live in another part of town. And it worked very well. The year I moved out of that neighborhood, I think I did 42 transactions that year, and 17 of them were in that one neighborhood. Now I'm in another part of town, and I basically do a mailer to the entire community that I live in. I've started doing that once a month, and somebody just asked the conversion rate. I don't do the math on that, but I'm sending out. Last year I did it 9 of the 12 months. It goes to 10 or 11,000 households. I closed 79 transactions, and 58 of them were in that one community. Over time, it's been a good strategy for me. I've committed. I'm doing it every month this year. So it's been really good in conjunction with other things. I mean, I've also got a couple of inexpensive billboards in my community, and then with the signs in yards, the listing, the for sale signs in people's yards on my listings, that's a big one. I mean, I have people all the time telling me, "Hey, I see your name everywhere," and I see your name, and suddenly there's a sold sign on it, and so those kind of things add up. So everything kind of works collectively together.
Hey, Chad, we had another comment come in. Does the size of the direct mail matter?
Um, I guess I guess the question is maybe in relation to the size of the mail piece. I mean, I think it does. I mean, you wouldn't want to do the really small 3x5 postcard, I don't think, because to me that gets lost among the other pieces that came that day. The one I use is like 6x9 or something. It's sort of that jumbo postcard size because it stands out. Yeah, 6.5x9, Jenny, that's correct. That seems to stand out a little bit more. I have seen people use some larger things. I've not tried that, but I think a larger format that doesn't just morph in and get hidden in the stack of mail for that day is better.
Yep, good stuff.
I've had some of our past clients use 8.5x11, which you can do with Every Door Direct as well. So the postage, I believe, is the same on that, but you're going to pay a little bit more for the printing because of the paper. But wow, 8.5x11 on cardstock, that is in your face.
Hey, let's finish up number 5, and then we can answer a question. We can talk about market share from an agent attraction standpoint, or we can talk about market share. You do have 3 folks that are 10+ million producers, so I'm happy to do that. Jenny, do you want to talk about any other things that you do as agent attraction? And then after Jenny, Chad, do you want to chime in?
One of the things that I love to do is, and I love to do this to grow my business as well, is give good reviews when I see good things happening. And when I have a co-op agent who is amazing, not only do I post about them on Facebook, thanking them, I'll also give them a Facebook review on letting their clients know that they are in good hands because I co-opt with them. And that they handled their clients well, they protected their clients well, and they had a can-do attitude. That goes a long way because a lot of times, you know, your brokers don't even take the time to give you positive feedback on Facebook.
You know, I think for me,
I would agree with that.
You know, from an attraction standpoint, I sort of treat that like I do, you know, my everyday real estate business, but because I sort of do my real estate business in that same way. I want to attract people instead of chasing them down and beating them over the head and dragging them back to the office to sign something. So my whole strategy there is just to be authentic, you know, to be the same guy that I've been for the 22+ years I've been in the real estate business. I've built a lot of good relationships. People know who I am and they trust me. And so I just continue to be that guy and try to add value when I'm in a co-op situation with another agent. Just do the best I can to make things easy for them and make them want to ultimately be a part of what we're doing because it's a good experience for them. So to me, it's just being authentic and making people want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely a must.
Yeah, and some of the other things that that we're doing by being an attractor is, you know, anytime that you can say, like, if you go to an event, you can take a picture with somebody in leadership, whether it's Dave Kennord, Glenn Sanford, one of the top agents, you know, in the area, or EXP, take pictures with them and post about it. I've interviewed Dave. I've had conversations on video with Glenn, and I've posted about those things. Anytime we're able to share any kind of big news, like, hey, we just crossed 28,000 agents, 29,000 agents, that's something to really talk about. You know, when a big brokerage like my friend Chuck Fazio in Arizona moves over, you talk about that. So any kind of big news, you know, you celebrate it. You know, even, you know, if you can get on, if you can write articles to your local newspaper or local business journal, Have them reach out to you about different things that y'all have going on with EXP locally in your market. I've been on a couple of radio stations and just talking about what we're doing on with EXP. We're just being, I think your big takeaways is make a lot of noise, be visible, and attract with value, and don't just be like, hey, do you want to join EXP? Because that's not going to get you anybody. So if you really come in from the heart of giving, then you will end up returning, getting a return favor. Does anybody have any questions? I know we're about wrapping up on time. Thank you for the comment, Jake. The session did not disappoint, but OMG, so many great ideas that we can implement. Yes. Yeah, it's like any event. Like if you don't, it's great to attend and great to take notes, but you got to implement. If you don't implement, it doesn't do you any good. Jenny, Chad, anything y'all want to add? Wrapping up.
I'd like to say something. We are we have grown so much in market share, and I can tell you that for me, I just needed something to be excited about again after 23 years in the business, and I am excited about this goal, and I'm more excited that I know people's lives are going to change because they have come to this company. And when you have that kind of excitement, there's just no stopping you, and that will be contagious for bringing new sellers into your world and for bringing new agents.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, my mantra with everything has been whether it's building my business, and I think this applies to growing our market share in our market, and with growing EXP, is just consistency over time. And you can't really replace that. It's one of those things where you just, whatever you do it well, do it consistently. You can't just do a little bit or do something one time and expect results. You have to be consistent and do it over time, and the results will show up.
Jenny, Chad, I appreciate you joining us. Lots of fantastic information. Everybody in the crowd today, thank you so much for checking us out in the session of Blueprint for Growing Market Share. Give us a great review if you found that this was valuable, and I really encourage y'all to implement. And I also encourage you to follow us on social media. Watch what we are doing. And feel free to kind of take what we're doing, adapt it to you and your market, and let's win together. Let's grow EXP to becoming the #1 real estate brokerage in the world. That's what we're doing in Birmingham. We need y'all to do it in your neck of the woods. Thank y'all so much.
Bye, y'all. Have a good day.
Thank you.